Everyone. Thank you for joining me on chapter 2 for organizational behavior. This is about job performance. Okay. So in chapter today we are going to be trying to understand what job performance is, and typically there is a misunderstanding of job performance outside organizational behavior. So what organizational behavior explains is that the job performance is the behaviors that contribute to either positively or negatively to the accomplishment of organizational goal. So it's not the consequences of the result of the behavior, but it's the behavior itself. So let me give you an example. Let's say the Patriots, for those of you who are football fans, have done a really great job this season. They have played every game really well. They have trained well. They've done everything they were supposed to do. But at the end of the season, they did not get the Super Bowl. Would you say that they had a bad performance? And a lot of people, they look at job performance specifically on the result. And they may say, well, because they didn't win the Super Bowl, that means they are bad performers. But that would be unfair and unrealistic because the Patriots, if they have had a good season, if they have trained well and played well, even if they have not won the Super Bowl, they still would be qualified as having a good performance in that season. So this is why it's important to have that distinction. It's really important to have the distinction that it is not the results and the consequences of the behavior, but it is the behavior itself. So there are three categories of behavior that is relevant to job performance. And those categories are task performance, citizenship behavior, and counterproductive behavior. And I'm going to be looking at each one of those categories. To talk about task performance, we talk about the behaviors that are directly involved in transforming organizational resources into goods and services. If you look at a job, let's say a waitress, her tasks, her duties, her responsibilities that she does are typically a mix of things that she does on a routine basis, things that are adaptive, and things that are creative. For example, a waitress routinely has to take orders, has to bring receipts, has to ask customers if they have allergies, anything else she could help them with. She may have to guide clients to the table. She may have to clean the tables, provide silverware. These are all things that she does on a routine basis. The second type of tasks that a waitress may have to do is what we call adaptive task performance. And in this case, when she has to adapt to an unusual or new situation. And right now we are in COVID, and with the COVID-19 outbreak, many waitresses, because a lot of restaurants have very specific guidelines, they have to adapt. Now a waitress has to wear a mask. She probably has to use hand sanitizers all the time. She probably not just have to clean the tables, but probably also the chairs after her clients leave. She probably has to keep a safe distance between her and her clients. So all these new tasks that she has to do are adaptive because there is an unusual or a new situation that she has to adapt to. And then the last one is what we call creative task performance. And that could be that a client has a special request. That request is not on the menu. And she tried to accommodate that request by being creative. Maybe adding something to an existing order, removing something, but making sure that she can accommodate the client's, maybe there is a party who wants to celebrate a birthday. Maybe she can come up with a creative idea, besides just the cake, the singing, something else to celebrate the parties, whether it is a birthday or any other event. But a waitress could come up with creative ideas to make the experience of the clients more enjoyable. So, when you want to adapt to new situations, it's about handling emergencies, handling work stress, solving problems creatively. You can see how there are a lot of examples of how things would happen. I think all of us right now who are faced with the corona pandemic, we all are in a situation where we have to adapt. I am right now recorded my lectures because this class was supposed to be in person, and I had to adapt. I had to, create my classes in Moodle. Make sure I have my lectures. And you as a student, you had to adapt too. You're probably taking most of your classes remotely from home. Maybe there are other things you have to adapt to. If you have children and your children are being homeschooled, you have to adapt how you're going to be taking your classes, how you're going to be doing your work from home, or if you have to go to work. So there are a lot of things that could throw you out of the ordinary and make you adapt to the situation, and your ability to adapt will make you a better employee. So we talk about task performance. It is very important to identify the relevant behavior for a job. And this is why we do a job analysis. And in a job analysis, you generate a list of the activities involved in the job. So I'm a faculty member. So I have to do lectures, I have to grade, I have to monitor discussions, I have to answer emails, I have to advise students who want to register for classes. But there is a list of activities that I have to do. And then out of all my activities, you could rate the task on frequency and importance. For example, lecturing, that's something that I will do on a daily basis. Answering emails on a daily basis. Maybe grading, it may be something that I do once a week. But you can rate the frequency and importance of the tasks of that job. And then after you do that, you can use the most frequent and important tasks to find the task performance, okay? We already give you an example about the performance of a server. There is a website that is very helpful. As you can see here, it's called ONET Online. And you can type in here where it says occupational quick search. You can type in any occupation that you are interested in. Like, for example, if you're interested in becoming an accountant, you can type in accountant there. And what does this do? It gives you the tasks, what type of task an accountant should do. Here in this example, they have an example of a flight attendant. What are the tasks of a flight attendant? What tools the flight attendant needs, what knowledge they need, what are the skills needed, abilities needed, activities needed. One of the things that I love checking here on ONET is the wages and the education. I like to know for the job that I'm thinking about, what type of education is required. Can I just work with an associate degree, with a bachelor degree, with a master degree? What type of qualifications they require? And you can find that here. And you also can find out the wages and salaries. And this website gives you wages by state. So if you are specifically looking in Massachusetts, you have a drop down and you can see how much an accountant on average makes. In this case, how much a flight attendant makes, and then you can compare it to other states. This is a really useful website. If you are undecided or you want to know about a career that you are interested in, I would strongly advise you to go and put in that career that you're interested in and read more about it. So we said that when we talk about job performance, there are three different categories. The first category was the task performance. The second category is what we call citizenship behavior. And what citizenship behavior are the voluntary activities that may or may not be rewarded, but that contribute to the organization by improving the quality of the setting where work occurs. What does it mean? If you are engaged in citizenship behavior, you are doing these voluntary activities because no one is asking you to do it. You are not being paid for doing it, but you are doing it because you want to, because you believe that you want to contribute to the organization. You want to improve the quality of work in the organization. And that is a voluntary activity that you're engaged in. And that could be done either at the organization level or at the interpersonal level. And at an organization level, you could use your voice. And what voice means here, what if you are in a meeting and you learn about a process that is not working well, and you voice your concern or you voice your suggestion to make that process even better? Voice here is not complaining. Voice here is just nagging. Voice here is actually trying to improve the quality of work at the organization by providing ideas and solutions. The second one here is civic virtue. Imagine you are in a work environment where there are meetings, and those meetings are optional. If you go to them, great. If you don't go to them, there are no consequences. If you go to them, you will not be paid. But if you go to them, you may know more about the organization. and that knowledge may improve the quality of your work. So a lot of times organizations may have what we call trainings, and those trainings are optional. If you decide to pursue those trainings that are optional because you believe you want to improve the quality of work in the organization, you would be involved in civic virtue. The third organizational citizenship behavior is what we call boosterism. And boosterism is when you are promoting the brand and image of your organization. Imagine you are a student at Bunker Hill, or you are a faculty at Bunker Hill, and you are wearing your Bunker Hill hoodie or your Bunker Hill cap. You're wearing it outside school, either at a party with friends or at a gathering. And just the fact that you are wearing that BHCC hoodie or cap or any type of merchandise, you're boosting the image, you're promoting the image. And you're like, oh yeah, do you go to Bunker Hill? Oh yeah, I do. It's a great school. And you are promoting it. You're not being paid for doing that. It's not part of your job, but you are, branding Bunker Hill. And it is something that you do on a voluntary basis. The next citizenship behaviors that you see here in red are interpersonal. Helping, you have a new employee in the organization and you have more experience and you help your employee. Your manager is not asking you to help him. No, you're not getting extra pay to do that, but you help him because you believe that it is the right thing to do. Courtesy, being courteous in the organization, whether it is courtesy with your other coworkers, courtesy with customers, if you are in a position where you deal with customers, but courtesy is a voluntary activity. And then sportsmanship, okay? We all know that at times work can be very stressful. Again, with the corona pandemic, many jobs have become even more stressful than others. If you work in the healthcare industry, if you work in any industry where you're facing customers and you have to worry about your own safety and the safety of others, morale can go down. And engaging in sportsmanship is how you can keep that morale up, how you can make sure that not only you stay positive, but people around you in the workplace stay positive. So those were all examples of citizenship behaviors. These are helping. These are just, some definitions, as I mentioned earlier to you. So the third category of job performance is what we call counterproductive behaviors. And counterproductive behaviors can also be in two categories, either organizational ones or interpersonal ones, okay? And in the organization ones, you have production deviance, wasting resources is one of them. So here, unfortunately, you are hindering the organization. You are harming the organization goal accomplishment. If you are wasting resources, you're using too much paper, or if you are in a restaurant industry, you're just wasting too much food. You're throwing the food away. Doing that is a counterproductive behavior. Substance abuse, you're not supposed to be using alcohol or drugs while you are on the job. If you are, that will hinder your performance and the performance of the organization. The next one is what we call property deviance. And the first one you have there is called sabotage. Again, here you are intentionally hindering the property of the organization on purpose. Maybe at a restaurant, you are breaking silverware, or you are breaking, I'm sorry, not silverware, it would be hard to break. You're breaking plates on purpose. You are breaking machines at your factory, but you're doing that on purpose because you want to harm the organization. Or theft, you are stealing from the organization. That is an example of counterproductive behavior. Under interpersonal, we have what we call political deviance, gossiping. A lot of people believe that gossiping is not harmful. So what if we gossip about employees? It's not a big deal. It's a way to socialize. But gossiping could be harmful, even if it's a minor counterproductive behavior. But the spreading rumors sometimes can lead to unintended consequences. So, for example, there was this organization that went out of business, and a competitor who was still in business, they started this rumor that competitor too was going out of business. So employees started to flee the organization. They all left thinking, oh my God, they're going to close as well. Well, that happened 12 years ago. The company is still there. So what happened is just gossip and led to people to high turnover because people believed in rumors. Incivility, being rude to employees, being rude to customers, that is a counterproductive behavior. And the final one here, which is the most serious one, are personal aggressions. And that could be either through harassment or through abuse. No one has the right to call you names, disrespect you, touch you in ways that are not appropriate, require you to do work that you're not supposed to do, threaten you. All of those are examples of harassment and abuse, and they all fall within counterproductive behavior. Okay. So I will stop here for this chapter. Feel free to ask yourself the questions. If you do one of these behaviors, does that mean that you are likely to do most of the other behaviors as well? And then the next question is, do you believe that counterproductive behavior relate to task performance and citizenship behavior? How do they relate? The answers of this is in this PowerPoint. You can go ahead and you can read the rest so you can have answers to these questions. Thank you for listening for this quick overview. And I will meet you soon in chapter 3. Bye, everyone.